Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. At that time, Jesus said in reply, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to the childlike. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. This Gospel passage can be divided into 3 parts. In the first part, Jesus gives praise to the Father, and in this instance, it wasn't on account of the Father's greatness, but just the way the Father has made himself known. Jesus goes on to say that the Father has hid himself from the world's great and wise ones and has revealed himself to the lowliest. When Jesus talks about the lowliest, he is referring to the disciples. When he talks about the wise ones, he talks about the scribes and the Pharisees. I don't know about you, but I am actually really intimidated by people who are really knowledgeable and have good debating skills. Also because I'm really bad at debates. However, some people who are highly knowledgeable find themselves trusting in their own knowledge than trusting in God. They rely so much on their head knowledge that they fail to make this journey from their head to their heart, and in doing so also sometimes fail to see the heart of the other person that they're debating with. One of my favorite speakers once said that faith exceeds reason, which means that at some point reason stops and faith is going to begin. And in my personal life, the more I try and grasp and understand the beauty and the complexity of my faith, the more I come to realize that my understanding is limited, but my God is not, and I can't put God into a box. The second point, Jesus talks about the relationship between the Father and the Son. So Jesus says, all things have been handed over by my Father to me. The verb handed over usually kind of refers to the handing over of tradition by the scribes and Pharisees. So Jesus claims to have real knowledge of the Father and the ability to reveal the Father to others. And I love the way Jesus refers to the Father as my Father. It shows just that deeper relationship that is shared by the Father and the Son. The third part of this gospel passage is where Jesus invites the world downtrodden to find rest and peace in him. Jesus says, come to me, you who are weary and heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I usually focus on the first part of this verse, and I find it quite peaceful and life-giving. However, in the past few weeks, I was reflecting on what the second part meant. Initially, I thought the yolk meant like an egg yolk, and I didn't completely get it until I had to Google what a yolk was. So a yoke, for those who don't know, like me, is a harness that is used by oxen and other animals to ease the load of carrying a burden. So the yoke is typically designed for 2. So you have 2 oxen side by side, and often if a farmer just has 1 ox, then he would typically put his head through the other part of the harness, meaning that the animal and the farmer would walk side by side. And isn't that analogy just so beautiful? So in this walk towards sainthood, Christ invites us to learn from him and to share in this load, but he also invites us to share our burdens with him. So I have a few reflection questions after this that I invite you to reflect on as we go on with our day. I hope you have a blessed day ahead. God bless. Bye.